Oh, good.
So, welcome to 2021, brand new year. 2020 is gone, and welcome to the first episode of Home Bars Live of this brand new calendar year. As you know, we air this show every Tuesday, and this Tuesday is no different than any other Tuesday because the show is airing today. See how I tied all that in together, just like a little circle. But today I got two great guests with me. This is going to be a really fun show, and I couldn't think of two better individuals to kind of start the year off with. It's my dude Kyle Zimmerman and my dude Bradley Tyler Moore. So you know, you know what? We don't need any more introductions. Let's get the show started. So we're gonna start off with my man Kyle, who's actually checking in from the work lab right now because he's being a good coworker. So what's up, Z? Where you at, man?
What's going on, man? I am at the Owl Shop in New Haven, Connecticut. It's a cigar, tobacco wholesaler with a whiskey bar. We've got about 300 different whiskeys on the back bar, and then a bunch of cigars and rolling tobacco and stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately, I had to come in and cover an incident today, but I wanted to be a part of this and show some love. And I sometimes like seeing your face, so you know.
Well, I mean, this is a good start to the year then. So let's do this.
Birthday, by the way.
Appreciate it, baby.
Yeah.
I'll be like an actual host and do like the so, sir. Tell us where you're from, how you got started in the industry, and how long you've been in the game.
Oh boy! All right. So born in Kansas City, Missouri. Moved to Oklahoma for college. Started bartending somewhere around 6 years ago. I got the typical bartender story. I was working at a catering company in Oklahoma during college, busting tables, and a bartender called in. I jumped behind the bar and never looked back. So, yeah, I ran 3 different programs in consulting in Oklahoma, and then I moved on to doing some international stuff. I lived in Tulum, Mexico for about a year. I lived in Spain for a little while, and then came back, and the pandemic hit. So actually, before the pandemic hit, I was doing catering managing for some artists on the road. I was living the travel life and tour life and all that. And then when the pandemic hit and everything stopped, I moved in with a buddy in Connecticut, and now I am the assistant general manager of the bar here and working it out and getting back on the road a little bit and trying to juggle all that 2020 brought us.
Dope, man. So now we're rolling into a new year. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to with like a fresh start with 2020 kind of being in the trash?
And it's been a struggle here lately. As travel has opened up, I'm starting to get the itch again, and I've been moving around a little bit, but being very cautious because I know that it's not the right time to do that. So I think starting fresh is just going to be, I think, a lot of places unfortunately are closing. A lot of people are getting out of the industry, and it's going to be interesting to see what fresh faces survive and what new come about once bars start to reopen again.
Word. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things when you see a lot of these old establishments that that are no longer existent and are shutting down. It kind of makes you wonder. Hopefully, what the future is, it gets brighter than it doesn't get it before it gets dimmer.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to ask you is, let's talk a little bit about sports because this was a really crazy sports year. I mean, this year in sports was insane, man. So, What are your teams, and what are you looking forward to out of this basketball season upcoming?
Oh, you had to go basketball. So I'm originally from Kansas City, like I said. So
I have nothing to talk about football. So
Chiefs and Royals fan. For baseball and professional football, I went to OU, so I'm an Oklahoma Sooners basketball fan. And because I lived in Oklahoma, we didn't have anything in Kansas City. I am a Thunder fan, so I've kind of forgotten about basketball these last couple of years as I watched my entire team implode. So I'm looking for 2021 to pull some tricks like 2020, and the fact that the Thunder hopefully at least make the playoffs. I don't know. We got rid of Westbrook and everybody else, and we imploded real hard. I think at one point we had more draft picks through trading at the trade deadline than we actually had active roster players. So
I think you still might actually.
You
got like 47 draft picks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We ended up getting like 16 draft picks in one day through our implosion right before the trade deadline.
That's crazy. I mean, but so okay, I want to ask you something about that. Now, do you think that is smart management? Because say you have a player that maybe wants out and is on the way out, or you have people that are unhappy and you're trying to rebuild the culture, or do you look at it as being maybe done too hastily to where instead of you trying to work with certain players, you basically just sent them packing?
So for me, I would like to think that in Sam Presti we trust. Looking at the draft picks that came before, and the Serge Ibakas, the Steven Adams, the people like that weren't necessarily on everybody's radar that turned out really well. My biggest frustration and question mark is why we can't keep these star players. We had if you think about it, at one time we had Oladipo, Serge Ibaka, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant all on the same roster, and we couldn't get it done. And then all of them have now since moved on. So draft pick wise, I trust I know what he's doing. I just wonder about what happens when they get there and team chemistry, and I don't know why we can't keep any all-stars on our team.
Word.
So,
well, the show is Home Bars Live, and I know you're not currently at home right now,
right?
But you got anything around that you would like to talk about?
I brought a couple fun bottles. One of them is what I'm currently drinking most of right now, which is it's a Four Roses single barrel that's picked by us at a bar across the street. So Ordinary and Al Shop collab. And then the other, because I know you love it so much when I bring it, is I always keep a bottle of the Corazon, depending on what expression, with me all the time. We were on a chat the other night where that was between my shoe game and my tequila selection. I was quite the topic of conversation.
So let's talk about shoes, because we both love shoes. We both definitely have our own flavor and our own style. So if you could do a shoe collaboration with anyone, who would it be? And is there any particular shoe that you always wanted to kind of design yourself, or would you have a straight from scratch design?
So this is going to be a good topic of conversation for you. So I am in love with the Lyrical Lemonades, the 720 collab with Nike. And if I could do anything, just being around the music business and on tour, Cole Bennett, who runs Lyrical Lemonade, shoots a lot of music videos for people. And I think the fact that a guy behind the camera got a shoe deal is pretty cool to me. I mean, you see all these athletes that are out in front, rappers, actors, whatever, that you see them on their feet all the time. But a guy that's literally behind the camera for a living got a shoe deal. It's my favorite pair of shoes right now. And I would, if I could redesign or do my own thing, the Jordan 4s are always going to be special in my heart. And I think I could pull off some great color schemes with some crimson and cream representing OU for some Jordan 4s. But I know you love the Lyrical Lemonades. So,
I mean, it's a shoe.
It is a shoe.
I might say like it. So, but hey, it's okay. I mean, different strokes for different folks, right?
I guess.
So you would redo a Jordan 4.
Yeah.
So you've, like you said, you've been working in the music industry and doing stuff like that. So I would say, what is the coolest artist you've had a chance to work with or kind of collab, and think of yourself as MC Zimmer stuff? Like what's your rap name?
I wouldn't have a rap name for me. Perfect. If I could be perfectly honest, I think that's why I admire Cole Bennett and the Real Goats and people like that, because I have a thing for shooting videos and stuff like that. I think the hospitality and catering stuff is the foot in the door to the industry, but me personally, I could never be an artist. But some of the cool people I've had a chance to work with quite a few people. I've worked quite a bit with John Legend. I've worked quite a bit with The Baby. I worked with Mac Miller right before he passed away. I've done some stuff with Machine Gun Kelly. But yeah, that's my genre that I enjoy being around. And it's, I would never be an artist, so I don't think I could have a rap name.
You don't think, well, you could, come on, man. You could have a rap name, bro.
What would you name?
You could be like MC Head and Shoulders. I don't know. I mean, I trust you. That's what I'm saying. MC Head and Shoulders. You know what I'm saying? You throw them off. It's a whole different kind of they don't know what they're really getting themselves into. Then you hit them with them 16 bars, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I once my nickname for a long time was Baldy Locks. You could call me MC Baldy Locks if you wanted to. Just saying.
That is a good one. So I recently bought a turntable, one you can probably see behind me. What is one of those albums that when you hear it, you can listen to it from front to back? And I mean, like, it could be either new or, all right, well, give me a new one and like an old school album that when it comes on, you're like, yeah, play that.
I think old school may be different for different people, but I think my classic album of all time is the Black Album by Jay-Z. Jay-Z's my number one. He's my GOAT. I know that there's unpopular opinions out there from Biggie and Pac and all that, but Jay-Z, anything from Reasonable Doubt on, to me, you could play all the way through. But I think the Black Album is probably my number one. Anything new? There's a lot out there. I really enjoy the new Jack Harlow project. He had a hit song, but he hadn't really put out any other material besides that for a little while that caught fire. And this album from front to back is it's incredible. So I've listened to the Jack Harlow album front to back probably 7 times last week.
Word. I have yet to listen to that album. I will check it out on your suggestion.
You should do that. Drink
so you're definitely
some lyrical lemonades.
I'm okay. You're definitely a man of mystery. As you know, you've been featured in a lot of espionage movies in your past life. So having the skills of a secret spy, what have you found in the field was the most tactically important skill to have?
Being able to blend in. Because how is that? Because you get out of the limelight, you blend in a situation. If you're spying on people, you don't want to be in front of the action or get in any kind of confrontation. So you just have to be able to blend in and be part of it. I stand behind you and let you dance and talk about milk, and nobody ever knows I'm there. It's great. I'm like a little fly on the wall.
So do you also feel that applies to your bartending style a little bit? Being able to kind of like blend in and stand out when you need to, but also,
Yeah, I mean, so we'll be honest. I think that probably my weakest skill when it comes to tending bar is sometimes guest interaction. I've just been doing it for a long time, and you go through those phases where sometimes you just want to work a service well with your head down, and sometimes you want to be out in front of the guest. But yeah, I mean, I would say it definitely lends itself to my bartending style, because I'm definitely at a point most of the time where I'd rather just work in a service well and crank out some tickets.
Word. So next 5 years, are you still making drinks? Like, what are you doing? Are we like touring on a boat together? Like, what are we doing, man?
Listen, I won't tell the story, but I can't be around you in water. I don't, that's not. I'm not giving you any source of water to have around me ever again. But the next 5 years, man, I loved doing the catering and tour managing and stuff like that. And like I said, I'd lend myself a lot to music videos and that kind of stuff. So I actually would like to jump out at some point and work more hands-on with music videos and stuff like that. But the foundation to getting there and doing that is being around artists and doing private caterings and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see myself bartending for a long time if that was going really well for me. But there's other avenues that I've kind of set myself up for and been frugally financially ready to like make some leaps at some point and do some video editing and stuff like that.
Oh man, so are we going to be seeing Zimmerman Video Company Productions popping up pretty soon? Is this what I'm hearing?
Not for a little while. I would like to work under somebody first, so I know what I'm doing. But that would be the game plan at some point for sure.
So do you like photography? Like what? And I guess that's a separate question. I guess I want to say
the story element of taking a song and being able to tell a story through pictures. So not necessarily photography, but more the video, being able to design, the set designs, what goes in it, what matches up lyrically, what matches up with each artist stylistically, that kind of stuff. Still photography is not for me, but videography would be more what I'm into.
And thank you for reading my mind, because I started with a real dumb part of that question, and you just took that. Appreciate you, bro.
I got you.
And so my thing is this is if you could design you got your first video, you're doing your first video, who's it with? And is there any other producer or videographer besides the Lyrical Lemonade Cats that you would want to work with on like your first project?
And if I could design anything, I think right now, somebody that has been a very interesting watch for me on Instagram and videos recently and going through a shift in their life would be Kevin Gates. And I would want to collab probably with, there's a company called The Real Goats, REL, out of LA. And they do a lot with the baby in Center for Vegas right now. But I think doing something with them and kind of capturing what the transition that Kevin Gates is going through now would probably be the dream as of right now.
Word. Okay. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We both grew up as males in the world. I realize that I'm a little bit, I might be a little bit older than you, so I don't know. What's your favorite fast food that, like, if you could have like that burger or like that hot chicken or that slice of pizza, where's that place that you're going to kind of like feel that urge?
Are we counting Chipotle as fast food?
Definitely.
Then Chipotle, hands down, no question. I think second behind that would probably be Whataburger. It's the best burger out there. That's not even debatable. We don't even need to get into In-N-Out, Jack in the Box discussions. Whataburger has the best burger, hands down, point blank, period. But Chipotle is the number one go-to.
So what's your thing? I've never, and I'm okay with saying this, I have never had Chipotle in my life.
Steak burrito, white rice, corn, lettuce,
what's your
cream.
like?
Steak burrito, white rice, corn, lettuce, sour cream every day for the rest of my life. Never change it. Never change it. That's it.
It's that good, huh?
It's delicious. Next time we're together.
Again?
Huh?
Nah, I'm cool. I think I can do okay without having Chipotle in my life. That could be one of those things. But if you're getting a chance to throw a concert, and this concert is I need an opener, a mid, and a closer. This can be dead or alive, or alive or dead.
Don't do this to me.
Either or.
Oh.
It's being done to you right now.
All right. And it doesn't have to be same genre, right?
So again, this is your concert, and you could pick anyone alive. You can even make someone up. It could be someone known. It could be like Superman and Friends. I don't know. It's up to you.
All right. I'm opening with Bleeding Gums Murphy, the saxophone player from The Simpsons. I'm going mid with Billy Joel, and I'm closing with Jay-Z. Oh yeah.
I'm just imagining a cartoon character at like a live concert with a bunch of like real people. That just that's.
I mean, they brought holograms to Coachella, right?
True.
If they can put
that is true.
We can recreate these characters.
We can definitely recreate anything that we want, apparently, including Bleeding Gums Murphy. All right. So what would be like if you had like a tough guy nickname? What's your tough guy nickname?
Baldylocks.
Like what do you see yourself as, like if you was like, The Rock or something? I don't know.
Baldylocks. I don't think you're gonna mess with a guy called Baldylocks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, on paper that sounds kind of intimidating, but it also really confusing.
Why's that?
But I guess,
The Goldilocks from the Three Bears
we can definitely
huff and puff and blow your house down, but I have no hair, so I'm bald. So it's like,
oh man. So travel, of course, you mentioned travel as being something that I think we're all kind of looking forward to getting back to, but it's also something that we have to do safe. What are maybe 3 places that when we kind of get a green light, you're kind of looking forward to going to and seeing?
Oh man, Puerto Rico, Barcelona, and probably just going back to Chicago. I miss a lot of people in Chicago. It's a fun city. But yeah, I think Puerto Rico would be number one, and then I miss Barcelona quite a bit. So I'd go back to Spain for a little while.
Word. Well, I mean, let me know whenever you want to go on these trips, because all three of those sound like places that I would like to go with you as well. So let's
100%.
hey, we need to figure that out. But as we're coming to the end of this portion of our interview, I'm going to bring you back a little bit later on, depending on what you got going on for work. But first and foremost, I want to say thanks, Pop. It's been great having you. I mean, this is the start of the year, start of a new year, and to be able to see your face and walk into this new year on the show has been awesome. So love you, Baldy Locks.
Love you too. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I'll see you in a little while.
Yeah, man. Stay bald, and I'll see you soon, Daddy. So that was my man Kyle Zimmerman checking in from the Owl Shop, doing his thing in the cigar bar in the back room, taking care of us as he is working. But we're going to be moving on to another amazing guest of mine that's going to be coming in today, and that's my dude, Bradley Moore. He also, too, as most of us have been figuring out a way to manage and work, and he has made it home, and he is at his home bar looking like the lovely Bradley, beautiful man he is, and that was just a lot of unnecessary extra words. So, Bradley, what's up, dog? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Feeling all right. Had a good day. Got a lot of inventory stuff done this afternoon, so that was real nice. Got a little bit more to do this week for that, but feeling good. So super excited. The holidays are over. I'm ready to get back to just not dealing with nonsense. My dog's barking.
Inventory, man, that is a word that, like, I miss inventory. Like, that word inventory just kind of makes me smile. Like, who would think that you would miss counting all the bottles that you have in existence? Like, I mean, come on.
God, every time I talk. 1 second. I'm going to give my dog a treat so he'll shut up. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I mean, the beauty of home bars is you're at home. And if you have a dog that is telling you, Dad, it's time to hook me up with a biscuit, it's time to hook him up with a biscuit. There's no judgment here. My dog is currently laying on the floor snoring right now, so I completely understand how you're feeling, my guy.
Now, the whole time y'all were talking, he's just asleep. Second I start talking, he jumps up. So sorry about that.
It's all good. So the show is Home Bars Live, and you are currently, it looks like you're in front of your bar setup. See some great mugs and stuff. You got any cool bottles or anything you want to talk to us about that you got, my man?
Sure. I mean, I've got, I'm kind of one that likes to drink all the special stuff as quickly as I can with friends or whatnot. So a lot of times the more rare things that end up at my house are gone pretty quickly, but there's a couple things that I thought are really neat that kind of have some fun stories behind that I figured I'd show you. One of which, no longer in production, but the Zaya 12. This was their 12-year aged blend. So it wasn't, later they came out with a blend of 12 rums is the way they advertised it. And then they also have their 16, but nothing really hits home like the Zaya 12. One thing that I really like about this, or at least a fun story, there was this bar here in town called O'Leavers. It's kind of like a punk venue kind of vibe. Always kind of like a divey kind of spot, but it's one that like my bands and stuff have played out millions of times. They opened up, they had this back room that was used forever to just store band equipment and whatever. They turned it into like a little tiki bar like 10 years ago. And they ended up having a few really fantastic drinks. They had this like blended banana cocktail that was great. And then they also would do a Cuba Libre where they would pour they'd fill a glass, like a Collins glass with ice, fill it about halfway with this stuff, and then give you a glass bottle Coke and squeeze a half a lime on top and jump it in. And that was my like go-to after they opened that up. And every show, I would pull that out, and that's what I would order and have, just get a little wild on Zaya because they charged like no money for it. It was crazy. And then this one trickled out of production. One of our sister bars had a popular drink that had this in it that they took off the menu. And a few years ago, they ended up finding like a whole case of it after they'd stopped producing it. And I was able to convince them to trade me for the case. And so that is a delicious rum. It's awesome. And then a couple years ago, my grandfather passed away, and I ended up flying back home to Kentucky, where my whole family's from. And I brought this bottle with me, and was able to drink with my cousins and my uncle and stuff. And so it's just kind of like been one of those like more special rums to me. It's kind of been a part of my life. And I was really enjoying these at Oliver's way before I started bartending, about 5 years before I started bartending. So it's kind of like one of those precursors into the rum obsession that I have now. So yeah, I really like it. If you could ever find it that says age 12 years, snag that. It's the only one that's got the little like reed top on the neck.
Right, that's good to know. So you're a musician, as you've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get into the bar game? Like what was your path into the hospitality industry? What was like how did you walk the walk?
Yeah, funny story. There was this venue in the neighborhood that I went to high school in, called The Rock. This was this like old movie theater that they turned into this. They wanted it to be like an all ages venue, so there wasn't any alcohol or anything, but they had this like elevated area, which is where the projector would have been, that they turned into a coffee shop. And all through high school, my band played there like every weekend, just every single weekend we played there. Instead of like going to football games, we're like trying to convince kids to fucking come to our show and stuff. So it was always fun. The owner ended up buying this bowling alley that was behind it. And I started working there. I just popped in there one day when I was 19, and he was like, "Hey, like I need people. Is this something you might want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I bowled when I was a kid and I bowl now. And so I did the summer. I'm just like checking in kids and stuff. And then the league started in the fall, and he's like, "Well, we have to shift your hours to evenings now. And by the way, you're going to be bartending." And I was like, oh, all right. And so spent a year there at a bowling alley bartending. It was so much fun. I really loved it. And then I ended up trying to find something a little bit better for me to be in school with. And so I ended up getting out of it for a little while. And then I ended up working at a couple different like call centers. I did some like online stuff, worked for some like online payment companies. And then one day my whole department got nixed when I was about 25. And I just walked across the street to the bar that I frequented. And I was just like, man, I just lost my job. I don't know what to do. And I was just, kind of grieving to the GM there. And he was just like, well, work here. And so started working in their like cigar shop, started doing like whiskey pairings with cigars, and then just covering as many fucking bar back shifts as I possibly could. I just did everything I could to finally get behind the bar. Once I started getting into it and like loving it, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. That's a place called Jake's. I still live across the street from it. It's a great place. So yeah, been doing that. Worked at a few places. And then whenever I started at La Colono, a little over 4 years ago now, it just was fantastic. I've always been a big tiki fan, and boom, now I'm running the place. So it was quick, but it's been fun, and I don't know, I love it.
Oh man, so you mentioned that you bowl. So what was the highest score you've ever bowled, and like what's like your average score? Are like you pretty good? You got like the wrist twist? Like what's your deal?
No, my highest I've ever bowled is a 275. And so I did that actually shortly after high school. When I was working at that bowling alley, that was the highest I'd ever bowled. Still to this day, I just can't seem to beat that again. This season I've been doing pretty bad. I do bowl in a league. This season I've not been doing the best. But last season, my average was about a 190 whenever we got done with it.
Well, as someone that is not a bowler, I don't have much technique. The fact that you hit 275, I know that's not far away from 300, and two, the fact that you're averaging basically like a two-piece, that's not bad, man. Do you have like your own custom ball? Do you have like your own shoes with your name on them?
Oh, I would love to get some embroidered stuff, but no, I do have my own equipment. When I was a kid, I ended up bowling in a league. My like best friend's mom would pick us up on Saturday mornings, and that was like my thing in like elementary school and junior high. And then you kind of get to a point where once you are used to bowling with your own ball with like the thumb holes fitting you perfectly, you just don't want to bowl anything else. You're just like, I don't even want to do this if I don't have my shit, you know?
Yeah, I remember one of the first times I started, like I was bowling, and I thought I was kind of being cool, and my finger, I went to let go, and my finger didn't quite come out, and I remember jamming the ball into the ground, and my finger was still in there.
Oh shit!
And the weird sound that my finger made in the hole was something I will never forget. And it taught me, kind of like what you're saying, is like you got to make sure that you got the right equipment when you're out there, because I've seen people toss balls. I've seen people. I mean, what's the worst injury you've seen happen in a bowling alley?
Shit. I saw a kid sideswipe another kid's ankle because they were like bowling at the same time, and he was like doing this weird like swing thing, and he like as a kid was like kind of at the approach they were sliding, he got the other kid's ankle, and it just like knocked him down, and he couldn't walk. He ended up going to the emergency room, and that was just kids bowling, man. It's I don't know. I think it's a hobby more than a sport. I love it. I think it's super fun, but it's still a 15-pound weight on your hand that you're swinging around, and you need to be careful. And a lot of times kids are just having fun being like high school kids or whatnot, and they'll bang around into something or huck the ball halfway down the lane that'll dent up the lanes or break a ball return that way. Good Lord, I still get crap for this. A few weeks ago, after our league, one of the guys on my team was giving me a hard time because they put some like open bowling young dudes in like their early 20s or something in a lane next to us after we were kind of finishing up our league stuff. And this kid just kept hucking the ball down the lane. And I was just like, hey, man, you got to stop doing that. And so now everybody like calls me this like crotchety old man on my team because I'm telling this kid to knock it off, like get off my lawn kind of bullshit. But there's just a lot that can happen. And it is kind of one of those things you can do when you're drinking. You can eat a bunch of food and bowl at the same time. But you still got to be a little careful,
Yeah. So 2020 is over and we're in 2021. And last year was rough and just long for all of us. As we're rolling into this new year, what are some of the things that you're hopefully looking forward to happening, because we don't really know what's going to happen, but what would be some of the things that you hope come out of, let's just start with the first 6 months of the year. What were some things that you'd like to see happen?
I mean, are you meaning just like in general right now, or are we talking specifically in the bar industry?
Entirely in general, Pop. It could be bar focused. It could just be what like kind of whatever that you see out there that you'd really like to see kind of start to make a change.
Man, I just want people to start thinking about other people's safety, in all shape and form. And just people start having that like respect for living human beings. Our bar shut down for a short period of time. Like I've been here in Nebraska, we've been able to be open. And like back in March, we got the jump on the bottled cocktails. We were doing that. We turned our bar into like essentially a liquor store. And then I want to say it was June, we could open up for service again. And it's just a blatant disrespect for humanity. So many people out there, just people demand quite a lot more from us in the industry right now. I think they've got some unrealistic expectations of how we can do things and how we can handle things. And as we're rolling back restrictions here in Omaha or here in the state, I think people are starting to take it less seriously, but I really hope that we can roll out vaccines quickly. And I just hope that people can just be like, oh, that is another living human being. Maybe I shouldn't like bust my way past them, refusing to follow any guidelines and everything. I just, in this industry and bartending, one thing that I love about it, one reason why I was like so excited to be a part of it and to do this is, we get to throw a party for people every night. And when everybody at the party just are the people that should be kicked out, it's hard to have that party all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're just trying to have fun. So I hope that can happen. I hope that people can just start like realizing that we're all, to an extent, we're all in this together. We're all trying to just survive and get through the next day and do whatever you need to do. I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's so many times in my life where I've seen like adults or teachers or like my parents or just whoever's around me, like holler out at someone not to walk into the street because they're about to get hit by a car, or like, remind someone to put on their seat belt, or like, hey, wear a coat because you might get a cold, things like that. And it just seems like that's somehow that disappeared. Like the idea of everybody kind of looking out for each other. And I know there's all the different views and everybody thinks different things and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's just like, good Lord, guys, this is a simple one that we're dealing with. And we're not asking for a whole lot, come out to the bar, enjoy your time. Let us be a host. Let us treat you. You can relax. We're here to give you a good time. We just ask that, you follow a couple little rules that are mandated by the state or the city government or, whatever. So I just want that. I want people to respect each other a little bit more. And then I want to go to a fucking concert and I want to drink beers and have fun. Like that's a thing too. I just, no music, haven't seen anything since forever ago. And I just want to go out again and have a good time and want to, I want to go out also.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you have a band, you've been playing music for a while. Does your band still have the same name? And what instruments do you play? Do you play multiple instruments or just one? And I'm saying that like, like I can't play an instrument at all. So I mean,
Sure. I primarily play bass in everything that I've been in. I've had a couple bands where I played guitar in. So I can't play bass and guitar. I played piano for a really long time growing up, and then kind of moved over to strings. I don't have any active projects right now. In fact, one of my groups, we were talking about kind of getting back together to finally have like an actual like farewell show back in Surrey. So obviously it didn't pan out very well. But I've been in a lot of different groups. The band I grew up with and our name was Akita Kin, which actually a producer we worked with was like, no, you guys sound like a hairy dog. And our friend was like, or our guitar player was like, Akita Kin, let's do that. And so like, that was cool. And then just kind of other stuff. I've done a lot of different genres. I would like to get into something that's got a little bit more like funk or soul to it. I think I've kind of got some gear together during the pandemic and just been able to, tone in, or, fine tune my tone for a couple of new projects. And I'd love to get something started here in 2021 with a few friends. So maybe that's on the lookout too. I want to play some more music and I want to jam with my buds again.
Word. So let's talk comic books. Did you read them?
Oh yeah.
And okay, so what were some of your favorite storylines as a kid, you know, whether it was like the death of Superman or some of the other ones. What were some of your favorite ones growing up that, whether they did them in movies or not, but if they have or they haven't, what are some of the ones you'd also like to see portrayed out on film?
Sure. I big Spider-Man fan, always have been. So I pretty much just fell in love with that story. Just everything about Peter Parker I thought was great. I My dad really got me into Avengers when I was younger too, because he was a big Captain America fan. I felt like there was talk of, so like the Infinity Gauntlet, when they brought out the movies, I lost my shit. I was a huge Infinity Gauntlet fan. I think Thanos is a fantastic villain. I really dig some of the more like outer space stories through Marvel, like with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Inhumans, the Kree, the Skrull, like all that stuff is so much fun. But really, the Secret Wars, I would love to see that as a movie. Just kind of them wisp away into this crazy story that they got to figure out. I will say, I think one of the best Spider-Man movie might actually be the Into the Spider-Verse, the animated one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, it was really good.
The music was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they did that perfect. And the animation was so cool. I remember I saw that in theaters on my birthday a couple years ago, and they would do those kind of like splash frames where the characters would still have the like comic art stippling surrounding them. That blew my mind. Everybody that was involved in that needs, I don't know, if anyone involved in that movie comes to my bar, I will buy all your drinks, because that's how freaking good that movie was. I loved it.
So, okay, I guess another question I wanted to ask you then would be, do you think that it is easy? Because I've felt that there's some stories that just need to be animated because you can do more with animation than you can with just, with people.
Mm-hmm.
So would you agree that would you like to see more of an animated take, maybe moving in the future with some of these things versus them actually having actors, just because you can actually, like, I think, get into more detail and kind of have more of a even broader story.
Right. I love the idea. I think that Into the Spider-Verse flat out proved that you can have a phenomenal movie that's animated, that still has the fun aspects of the comics, like Spider-Ham, voiced by John Mulaney. Like, good Lord, that was hilarious. There's no way you could translate that into a live action. Like, I don't want some weird, like, live pig Spider-Man trying to do that same shit. Like, that's weird. Like, I don't want that. Like, and also, there's so many things that happen in animation that can translate from the pages of comics significantly better than a live action character. Like, it just, I don't know. Just think about like how wild. Example, the wings on the side of Spider-Man, or no, I'm sorry, the wings on the side of Captain America's like cowl.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they didn't do that in the movies. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there are certain things that like the drawing of the character can do, and the costumes and the way their powers and stuff happen. I don't know. I think that it can happen and it can be fantastic, and you don't need to have these big name actors and whatnot actually in the outfits, having to design the costumes and all that stuff. It's great when it happens, but I don't think it needs to all the time,
Yeah, that's a trip too. I just thought about that. Now thinking about all the Captain America movies. Yeah, you're right. And it's something that subtle that, I mean, when you think about it, the white wings are something that's just part of who he was. But that's a very good point. I didn't even think about that. So, okay. Now we know you love Spider-Man. So what were your top 3 superheroes? And then maybe the top 3 superhero groups as well too.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well,
They can be villains too, by the way.
oh yeah. Spider-Man always my favorite. From there, it's kind of hard. I really liked Winter Soldier and the story of Bucky Barnes being Captain America's sidekick and falling into Russia, like just that whole thing. James Buchanan Barnes. I fucking love that guy. So Winter Soldier's on there. I just like the idea of the characters that are not necessarily super powered. Like he gets the robot arm, but he's skilled. Like him and Hawkeye, I think maybe tied, just in the fact that they are resilient and they have a good attitude, and they're like, I can do this because I can will it to happen. You know, it's not just something wild. And then probably I really like Black Bolt. Also a Marvel character. He was one of the Inhumans. He's like the king of the Inhumans.
The Inhumans.
Yeah. His whole relationship with his queen and wife Medusa, where he can't speak because if he like talks loudly, like if he speaks anything, that's where all of his force power is coming from. So it's kind of like Cyclops can't open his eyes. So it's like he can't say anything, otherwise he just blows the whole room up. I always liked that relationship. I always thought that was a really cool character. So I put those pretty far up there. But then, you know, Cap and Thor, it's hard not to like some of these characters that have been around a really long time that have had the ability to be very, very fleshed out and develop some really great personalities. So as far as superheroes are concerned, yeah, villains, my number one favorite villain is the Green Goblin, hands down. I'm actually in the process of I've got quite a few now, but I'm doing these like sailor style renditions of Spider-Man villains. They're covering my leg, so I'm getting all those tattooed right now. So I got Green Goblin on my knee. That was the worst tattoo I've ever gotten as far as most pain. Nobody told me it was going to hurt that bad. Like I've done my chest, like I've got a lot of tattoos and stuff. I like sat down. He's like, well, here's the deal. It might hurt or you might not feel anything. Cause for me, it didn't really, I just felt weird. This is my tattoo artist. And he's like, but for other people, they say it hurts. And I'm like, okay. I barely made it through the outline the first sitting. I've never tapped out on a tattoo. And I was like, dude, I can't do this. I don't know what it was. Yeah, Green Goblin. I love Dr. Octopus. I mean, you're gonna hear Spider-Man villains. That's just kind of how it goes. And then I don't know. Third, I would probably say Black Cat, just because I like the idea of her power. Her ability is this like ability to give everybody bad luck around her. So it's just like, well, you can't shoot me because you got bad luck. You can't hit me with anything. So whatever. Oh, you're trying to like throw something at me? Yeah, miss. Bad luck. Suck it. You know. And just the cool cat burglar costumes. Favorite groups? Yeah. Sinister Six. So that's like this 6 Spider-Man supervillains. I think original rendition had Electro, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin. I want to say Rhino was in there. Shocker was there later. I'm not sure how early on, and then Vulture. I just love the idea of super villain groups, you know, like they're just like trying to beat one dude. And they're just like, oh, we got to form a team here. I don't know. I think there's a lot of really great comics out there that aren't necessarily like specific to superheroes. So one comic that came out, this was back, I worked at a comic book store while I was starting bartending also. This one's called Rat Queens. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but it's like some like badass medieval ladies that are basically playing out this like D&D-esque storyline. And they are just a force. Like they go out on the different quests and stuff, take down ogres and there's like weird military coups that are going on at the same time. It's awesome. So like Rat Queens, as far as like a group of characters that have like a team basis, Rat Queens is fantastic. That's by Image Comics. Absolutely great. It was optioned for a movie, but I don't think it ended up happening, which is a bummer, but it's really cool.
Huh. Word. So as we start to get close to the end of our interview in this hour, first I wanted to say thank you, man. It's been great having you. I really appreciate you joining me on this first episode. What we're gonna do is, if Kyle is still lingering in the back, I'm gonna bring him back in, and we'll do a little wrap up before I let you guys get out of here. I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm here.
I'm there he is.
I'm here, Papa.
Nice. Very nice. So, fellas, thank you guys so much. This has been a great show. And again, I think, my favorite part about this show is I get a chance to expose bartenders to a whole group of people that may not know who you are, which you guys living in different parts of the country and things like that. And now I'm going to ask you guys if you want to share your Instagram handles so everyone can follow you and harass you in your DMs. Brad, I'll start with you, Daddy.
Yeah, my Instagram handle is the amazing Spider Brad. That's for Instagram, and AMZ Spider Brad on Twitter. I don't ever use that one, but Instagram I definitely do.
Word.
I am I am K Zimmerman official on Instagram, and I also have Shake the Bank Finance as well. So either one works for me. I got the K Zimmerman official because I'm just waiting to get verified.
There you go. So I have a couple of more questions while we're all here together. If you guys could produce any kind of milk, what would it be?
Oh, tough one. I don't know. You've got the monopoly on milk. I'm not sure.
The milk god himself.
I mean, you could do like a honeydew melon milk. I mean,
You know what I would like? I would love like a roasted ancho chili milk. I want a milk that's like a little like smoky, little spicy. I think that would be dope. I could get into that.
I mean, I'm good. Yeah, I want to do a Chipotle burrito flavored milk.
They paying you for all that, Chipotle?
Man, I wish.
Or what?
I wish.
Goddamn.
No, I mean, this milk in a burrito sounds challenging, but I think we could pull it off. I mean, 48 hours or less, we get it till you deliver fresh.
I already put cheese on the burrito. It's just a solid form of milk anyway. So what's the difference? Just dunk the burrito in the milk like a cookie. Listen, huh?
Yeah.
Here for ideas.
We just dunk. But you know what? Hey, if you're doing the ancho roasted chili milk, then it might actually be good to dunk your burrito in that.
Yeah.
Because, so
it's like,
on that
it's like
note,
hot sauce,
thanks, guys. I think we have probably ruined.
If you don't get milk, you skip the whole chewing thing. You don't got to chew anymore.
Yeah.
There
you go.
It's just as we've ruined probably someone's idea of burrito lunch and cereal for the next couple of days. I want to again thank you guys so much. And if there's anything you guys want to say before we get out of here, Kyle, I'll start with you. Then I'll hit you, Brad.
I want to say thank you for having me on again. Happy belated birthday, and that I love you and I look forward to seeing you soon. This is the longest I think since we've met.
Thanks, Papa.
So.
Oh, for sure. This is definitely the longest that we haven't seen each other, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it, and I love you very much. Thank you.
We'll change that.
Yeah.
Back at you, Pop. Get back to work, man. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good.
B, what's up, man?
Man, I just want to say, go out, support your bars, support your bartenders. I'm not necessarily saying go drink a crazy amount, but tip a crazy amount. Spread some love right now. If you're able to spread love, do it as much as you possibly can. I think that I'm trying to be positive, and I'm going to try to hope that we're going to come out of this stronger than ever. Those that really dug their feet in and fought, they learned a lot about themselves. And just take care of yourself and take care of others, man. That's all I got to say.
That's real. Yeah, man, I completely agree with both of you guys. It's going to be a good one. Some of this, it gets to be a little bit normal again, whatever that new normal is going to be. But again, guys, thanks so much for joining me. This has been the first episode of Home Bars Live 2021. Got my man Bradley Moore, my dude Kyle Zimmerman. We will be checking out same time, same place next Tuesday, baby. Until then, bye-bye, y'all. Be good. Oh, it's over. It's the first episode.
Hey.